Creatine Monohydrate, one of the most popular and well-studied supplements that helps boost muscle growth, power performance, and even improves brain function. I have been using Creatine Monohydrate for 3 years straight now, with mostly positive effects. But is there also a dark side related to hair loss? And does creatine actually work for everyone? As someone who used to have alopecia in the past and currently supplements with creatine, I want to share my experiences, while also having an objective look at the scientific literature. First, let's look into what creatine actually is. Creatine is a nutrient that is found in animal-based foods like beef, fish, and dairy. The human body also produces creatine on its own, around 1 gram per day. So creatine is nothing crazy. It's a naturally occurring compound and your body uses creatine during training. Creatine powers recovery and performance during high-intensity exercise like sprinting or lifting weights by helping you resynthesize ATP more efficiently. ATP is the energy currency we use for all human movements, including muscle contractions. So if your muscle cells have more creatine in them, you can train harder and recover faster because the body can more efficiently generate energy. The reason creatine is oftentimes supplemented is that it's difficult to get all of your creatine requirements just from food. A 200-gram serving of beef or salmon contains 0.5 to 1 gram of creatine, while the average human produces 1 gram of creatine per day. However, research shows that most people benefit from having 5 grams of creatine per day to help saturate your muscle cells. Unless you eat like a kilogram of meat every day, you are not going to get enough creatine just from food. Now, there is research to suggest that some people produce more creatine than others. About 20% of the population does not experience a muscle growth benefit when they take creatine, because their natural creatine production and food intake give them all the creatine they need. So keep in mind that if you want to supplement with creatine, there's a 20% chance that you already have enough creatine in your system. But if you do not eat a lot of meat, fish, or dairy, you are very likely to be part of the 80% that does benefit from creatine supplementation, as supported by research showing that vegetarians and vegans tend to benefit the most from creatine supplementation. Let's now dive into my 3-year experience of using creatine, and we'll start straight from the beginning. Should you start a loading phase by having 20 grams of creatine for the first 7 days? Or simply start taking a 5-gram dose of creatine daily? I simply started by taking 1 scoop of 5 grams every day. Research shows that loading your creatine by taking 20 grams per day helps saturate your muscle cells in about a week. But if we look at other research, we see that simply taking 1 scoop of 5 grams of creatine per day helps saturate your muscle cells in about 2 weeks. Meaning that doing a creatine loading phase does not have much benefit. For some people, doing a creatine loading phase by taking 20 grams per day for a full week can result in some stomach discomfort. To keep a moderate and reasonable creatine intake, I generally advise to simply take 1 scoop of 5 grams of creatine per day, and within 2 weeks, you will start noticing the muscle building benefits. Since the first day 3 years ago, I've been taking 5 grams of creatine daily with no stomach issues whatsoever. So when you take this 5 grams of creatine per day, what benefits can you expect? The primary benefit is a boost in your muscle and strength gains. I noticed this in my own training as well, and it is supported by the scientific literature. In one classic study about creatine supplementation, it was found that taking creatine results in an 8 to 14% boost in muscle performance. Other research shows that you also experience an increase in muscle growth. This makes sense. If your muscles are saturated with creatine, you can train harder, resulting in more progressive overload, which allows you to make better muscle growth progress. However, we do need to manage our expectations. The increase in muscle performance is not extreme. If you can do 10 repetitions with 100 pounds on an exercise, with creatine you might be able to do 11 or 12 repetitions. So taking creatine by itself will not make you jacked. It just gives a small energy boost, and that's also how it feels when you take creatine. Next to improvements in performance, research shows creatine also helps you recover more quickly after a workout. Since taking creatine, I noticed that my muscles are able to take on more training. This is beneficial for athletes too. There is a reason creatine is one of the most used supplements in professional sports, with about 50% of professional athletes reportedly supplemented with creatine. Next to all of the muscle benefits, a bonus benefit of creatine is that it also positively impacts your brain health. Multiple review papers show that creatine supplementation helps improve memory, focus, and attention. This is because 5% of all of the creatine you consume is stored in your brain and can be used in brain energy production. It is of course tough to objectively determine whether I have become smarter in the past 3 years since taking creatine or not, but research clearly shows a benefit in brain health and function. Especially for athletes in high-impact sports like boxing or American football, taking creatine is recommended, because having healthy levels of creatine stored in the brain has neuroprotective effects. With all of these benefits, what about the drawbacks of creatine? Specifically, one concern some people have is that creatine will make your hair fall out. I am a good case study for this because before supplementing with creatine, I used to have alopecia. As you can see in this clip, I used to have a bald spot on my head that was caused by the autoimmune disease known as alopecia. Like I said, creatine was not yet in the picture during that time. The alopecia probably got triggered by my heavy work lifestyle back in the day. This happened around 2018 to 2019 when I was still finishing up my master's degree, working long hours as a personal trainer, and building up I Wanna Burn Fat. During that time, I Wanna Burn Fat went through a crazy growth spurt, and my follower count on Instagram went from 20,000 to 150,000 in 8 months. So I had to all of a sudden manage unexpected business growth while still finishing up my master's and taking care of my personal training clients. These were all positive things, and I felt very motivated and fine as a 21-year-old tasting his first success. But I guess that those 2 intense years impacted my immune system. Once I got my master's degree and was able to get back to healthy working hours, my hair grew back and I wanted to start taking creatine because I was ready for it in my fitness journey. In the past 3 years of me taking creatine, I have noticed no negative effects on hair growth whatsoever. In fact, my hair grew back in 2020 when I was recovering from alopecia while taking creatine. And that is because creatine does not impact hair loss. We have research on athletes that take creatine for up to 4 years and no unusual hair loss is found. There's no quality scientific evidence to indicate that creatine increases hair loss. One 3-week study found that creatine may increase levels of the hormone DHT, and DHT has been linked to hair loss in males with male pattern baldness. But many things increase DHT. Lifting weights increases DHT. Essentially, just one study showing a link between creatine and DHT should not stress you out about hair loss. So if creatine does not impact hair loss, how about kidney or liver health? Several studies investigated the effects of creatine on kidney function, liver function, and general health. No negative effects were found in healthy individuals. The International Society of Sports Nutrition also released a position stand in which they reviewed the available scientific literature on creatine. The researchers found that taking creatine within recommended doses is safe. There are over 1,000 studies on creatine, making it one of the most studied and safe supplements available. Pretty much the only side effect healthy individuals experience is that their body weight increases by 1 to 2% in the first 2 weeks after they take creatine. This happens because creatine is stored in your muscle cells with water that can cause a weight spike of 1 to 3 pounds. But the weight spike will not make you look bloated. The creatine and water will be stored in muscle, so it actually just makes your muscles appear larger. Now, just one last tip about creatine supplementation. Recent research shows that when you mix caffeine and creatine together, creatine's effects become less powerful. Having caffeine and creatine in the same drink may decrease creatine's absorption. So if you plan on taking creatine, separate your creatine intake from any caffeinated drinks to get the most benefits. I personally take 5 grams of creatine with water every day after my dinner meal. Timing your creatine before or after training is not needed. Simply take 5 grams of creatine daily and you will experience the benefits. And that was it for today's video. I hope that sharing my 3-year experience of taking creatine helps you better understand the effects of creatine supplementation. I want to emphasize again that while creatine is beneficial, it's a small detail compared to having an effective training and nutrition approach. So place most of your focus on hard training and healthy nutrition. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Also, if you found this video helpful, then leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next one.